All right. I am excited, but I am also, this is not a fully formed thought. And I'm also not sure. I don't think that I created this, but I don't know. This is a learned thing from experience rather than like I heard this somewhere.
Okay.
If that makes any sense, right? So like a lot of things that I understand have been taught to me, or I heard somebody say, and then I kind of iterated on it to kind of get to the conclusion that I have kind of come to. And I've heard this logic used in certain areas with indicators.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk about it with behaviors today. And again, I haven't heard it phrased this way. I'm not saying that I invented it. I'm sure that somebody has. So credit to whoever came up with this first, but I haven't heard you do it. So this is just from my experience. So have you heard of leading indicators versus lagging indicators?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so what I want to talk about today is leading behaviors versus lagging behaviors.
Okay.
Have you heard of that phrasing before?
No.
Okay. So again, this is not fully formed. This is, but it's been something I've been discussing a lot with clients, as is everything that I do on this page. But it's also been something I've been observing in my own life. And it links to a little bit of what we talked about at the tail end of the last episode that you and I recorded, which I have no idea. I don't know where we're at in terms of order right now. But I told you I ended up on an interesting side of TikTok.
Yes.
Right. Like I'm on the side of TikTok with my For You page that has, and it's because I've watched a couple, I think that it's going. So it's blown up even more since then. So it's a creator, and I'll give her a shout out. Her name is Kylie Perkins. Have you come across Kylie Perkins?
I'm not a TikToker. I'm in my 40s.
Well, she might be on Instagram too. I don't know. But so Kylie, and again, I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. I try not to, although it is freakishly addicting, which is what they want it to be. But I have to kind of engage on there as I post stuff.
You do.
So I'll open it up. But so she basically grew in like the last 2 or 3 weeks, her account grew from like, in the tens of thousands to over 1 million. And she's just going and like everybody's like making posts about her. You know what I mean? Like she's got this like crazy virality of what it is. And so her thing is like getting moms, and her husband does it with dads, but getting moms to basically get up and clean their house. Essentially, that's her thing. Like morning routine, open your shades and open the curtains and make your bed and fold some laundry and do some things, evening routines, that sort of thing. And it's been interesting to watch people's opinions on this. I talked about it last time. Like some people are like, you're changing my life. And some people are like, you stink. And then, of course, you're getting into the political thing now where it's like, who did you vote for? It's like, why did you vote?
Yeah.
All right. But that's what happens when people get big, is that dumb people come out, which is part of why I don't want a large social media following, because dumb things come out. But her whole thing, paired with some of the things that I've been talking about with my clients, has kind of come to this conclusion that there are leading behaviors and then there are lagging behaviors.
Okay.
And oftentimes we focus on the lagging behaviors.
We do all the time.
And the things that we want to have happen. And we're like, I don't know why I can't do XYZ thing. And it's frustrating. It's like, I want to do it, but I can't seem to get myself to do it. And then we feel like maybe I'm not motivated enough, or maybe I'm not disciplined enough, or whatever it is. And we always kind of want to come back to the source of what is the behavior that I could do that would make that's the leading behavior that would make the lagging behavior almost naturally occur. So I will give an example of this happening. I'll tell the analogy that I use fairly frequently, and then I'll give an example of this for myself that I realized. So the analogy I give for this fairly frequently, that I think I've given on this podcast multiple times before, is when you paint a room. All right, how do you paint a room? Do you just take a roller to the middle of the wall? No, you don't.
Always
Right?
cut in first.
That's the bulk of the work, though, right? That's what people notice is like, okay, when I'm painting the room, you're thinking about, all right, I got to roll out most of the wall. But you don't just start that because it gets frustrating when you get to the edges and you're not as effective with it. So what do? You take all the outlet covers off first, and then you tape, and then you lay down drop cloth, and then you cut in, and it takes you 7 to 10 business days to do all of that, and you've painted 5% of the room.
Right.
And it feels like, oh my gosh, all of this work. But then you take the roller and you do the 95 remaining percent in like 45 seconds because you've created the boundaries within which you can be successful. The leading behavior is all the behaviors are all of the things that you did to set yourself up for success. The bulk of the work is the lagging behavior, which is the rolling out. That kind of clear, at least in those sorts of things.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I'll give an example of how this does not play out in my life. I observed this last week. I don't know what the percentages are, but I'm pretty sure it's less than 25%. If I'm wearing sweatpants at dinner time, there's probably a less than 25% chance that I'm cooking dinner.
I need to understand the correlation between sweatpants and cooking because I only cook in like comfy clothes.
So it's for me, right?
Yeah.
For me, if I'm in sweatpants by dinner time, I'm in lazy mode.
You're in relaxed mode. Yeah.
I'm in relaxed mode. And this goes all the way back to when I was teaching, right? So this is why, like, I'm wearing real clothes right now. I'm wearing shoes in my house. I'm wearing jeans and I'm wearing a shirt. Like, I'm not wearing sweatpants, even though I could be wearing sweatpants and you would never know, right? But I'm wearing, like, I took a shower, I put on real clothes, and I'm not going to see a real person today besides on Zoom, right? But I am here. But the reason why is if I'm wearing sweatpants, my brain is like lazy mode. So even if there's something planned for dinner, we are takeout, we are leftovers or like breakfast for dinner. You know what I mean? Like I am not, I think it's probably 0 times that I've cooked steak in sweatpants. Like that would just be unthinkable to be, but not like on purpose.
Yeah.
But like there's just no way that like that version of Jeff is cooking a steak. Right? That version of Jeff doesn't do anything.
That's so interesting to me.
And some people aren't like that. And this is why everybody is different within this. And so, but I realized this within the last week, since our last call, where there was a day where we were supposed to have dinner. I was supposed to cook dinner, and I was just like, I don't want to cook. Because I'll have those nights where I'm like, I don't want to cook.
Of course.
And I love my wife desperately. And she's actually a very good cook, but it takes her moon phases to cook meals because she does things one thing at a time.
Oh.
The story time, if you want, quick insert of story time, and she'll appreciate this story because, I mean, she doesn't listen, but she's told this story.
I like that neither of our spouses listen to this.
No, they don't.
It's like a major part of our lives. We're like, it doesn't matter. Oh, man.
She's heard me say everything that she doesn't like. Let's just be honest. Megan's kind of tired of listening to me. Let's just be fair. She's like, the idea, like, any spouse would be like, I'm going to listen to another hour of you talking.
Like, I'd rather not.
I'd rather not. I listen to it. Like, I don't blame her. I don't blame her for not listening, right? Like, it's why, one of the reasons why I was really hesitant to coach her. I'm like, you don't listen when I talk in general. Like, why are you going to listen to me when I tell you this?
Yeah.
But when we were dating, I don't remember if it was the first time or after. I think it was the first time before we broke up. But I was sick. And she's like, I'm going to come over and make you soup. Aww. And I was like, okay, I'm hungry. That sounds great. She came over.
No, if you're already hungry.
And made me homemade chicken noodle soup, which was delicious.
I'm sure.
It took her 5 hours.
Did she have to make her own chicken stock by first boiling a chicken carcass? Because that takes 3
I
hours.
honestly don't know. I don't think so. I honestly do not know. But
Oh,
she's
sweet
told
girl.
that story before because again, it was delicious.
I'm sure.
But
Anything
it
that
took
takes 5
5
hours better
hours.
be.
And I was just like, I would have rather Campbell's at this point. Like, I would have rather you just boil it and then you come over here and I can like lay my head on your lap for that amount of time.
I have made a full Thanksgiving dinner in less than 5 hours.
And again,
dessert included.
It's because she just does one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Like she can't have she'll just like stand there. If she's like got to cook something on a pan, she'll just stand there and watch it cook.
Oh.
She's like, you know, like the veggies are sauteing. She's just like watching them sauteing, you know, and then she's like, okay, I've done that. Now I'll do the next thing in the recipe, you know, and which is so strange to me because she is like self-diagnosed ADHD and so many other things. I'm like, how is it that you can't do? But it is a little bit of like she gets laser focused on one thing. That's like kind of how her ADHD shows up. Is she's like, I'm zoned in on this thing.
Yeah. But usually ADHD you can like multitask.
Yeah, that
really
is not
well.
her. She cannot multitask at all. She's really not the best at multitasking.
Sometimes I wish I didn't multitask because there are things where I'm like, I burned that because I was doing 6 other things.
Yeah.
But you know, it's caramelized.
She is very she's very good when she is laser focused. Like she can be very laser focused. But yes, that is
Oh, Megan. It kind of makes me like her even more.
It's endearing.
Yeah,
it's an
really
endearing quality. So I end up doing the vast majority of the cooking on our house because we don't have 5 hours. We just and I enjoy cooking for the most part.
Yeah.
But there's times where it's like, okay, I don't feel like cooking.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And if I don't feel like cooking, it's like, okay, nothing's getting cooked.
Right.
You know, by that logic. And so there are days where it's like that, but most of those days are when I'm wearing sweatpants.
Mm-hmm. It's just such an interesting thing that you noticed.
I noticed it this week, and I was like, that's so interesting. But it is because of sort of the mindset for me. Mm-hmm. And I do this in other things, right? So, like, it's very strange for people that I wear shoes in my house during my workday.
Mm-hmm. I find that weird.
And it's only during my workday. Mm-hmm. But it's, again, the idea, because I'm in my house, so I have to trick my brain into being like, no, we're working. If I'm going to sit on the couch without shoes on, the TV's coming on.
Right. You're done with your work day by then. Yeah.
But like, if I do it at 10 a.m. and I don't have shoes on and I sit down on the couch, even if I have my laptop, it's like the leading behavior is I sit down on the couch without shoes on. The lagging behavior is the TV's coming on. Because that's like, that's the association
like
in my brain.
Almost.
It is. It's 100% Pavlovian. That's what it kind of leading behaviors, lagging behaviors is Pavlovian. It's instinct. It's what does your body do? And so we can train this, but it's also, we need to recognize what our natural patterns are and kind of hack them a little bit to trick our brains into doing it. So it's like, I put on shoes to tell my brain it's time to work. I put on real clothes to tell my brain that like I'm a real person mode. If I'm in sweatpants all day, most likely I also don't hit a great step count.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like I probably look at my screen time and it's higher. If I haven't, I don't do much with my hair, but I haven't taken the 30 seconds to put my hands through my hair or made my bed. If I haven't made my bed, there's 0% chance that I've put away my laundry. I probably haven't folded the laundry either.
I'm picturing my unmade bed because I get up 2 hours before John. And the full basket of unfolded laundry next to it. I'm picturing these two things like, oh.
100%. I haven't folded the laundry. I probably haven't folded the laundry if the bed's not made. And so we think about And we get frustrated, like, why can't I just fold the laundry? Like, I should just be able to fold the damn laundry. It doesn't take that much effort. I could do it whenever, but it's like, why can't I do it? And it's because there's a mental block for me because I typically fold the laundry on my bed. And so my folding laundry surface is unavailable to me. And so now the task of folding laundry feels more daunting because it's not just I have to fold the laundry. I have to make the bed. And so we go back to what is the thing that I need to do that makes the other thing lag behind and kind of be carried into is the natural byproduct of it. And so like I have come to the point of if I put my shoes on, I will almost guarantee myself 7,000 steps.
Oh.
I almost am guaranteed. It's actually probably more like 8 to 9. If I put my shoes on to start my workday, I will get 8 to 9,000 steps. Almost guaranteed. Because I'm going to be more apt to do something like stand on my walking pad and walk on some of my calls. I'm going to be more apt to stand up and walk outside if I have 5 minutes in between calls. Or pace around my house because I have shoes on. Because I'm in moving mode. I'm going. Leading behavior versus lagging behavior. I had a client, and I think I told this story, but she was trying to figure out, like, okay, again, working backward from the end goal, right? She wanted to lose, 30 pounds in the year. And so, okay, work backward from that. What is required of that? Okay, and we go through all these things. And she was like, hey, I'm pretty, like, going to the movement side of things. She's like, well, I want to do my workouts, and I probably want to get my steps in. And so those would be the things I want to try to do 3 workouts a week and hit 8,000 steps, right? Those are the lagging behaviors. But we can get frustrated that we're not doing that. Like, why am I not doing the workouts? For her, she's like, I need something to kind of get me going. And we got all the way back to, I think I told this story, where we got back to she's going to walk 10 minutes every morning. I told this story on another episode. She's going to walk 10 minutes every morning, whether it's on her walking pad or it's outside. She's going to walk 10 minutes every morning before she has breakfast. It's like the first thing she does when she wakes up. And what she discovered is if I do that 10-minute walk, it sets my brain up for, if she does that 10-minute walk, she gets 8,000 steps. That 10-minute walk is 1,000 steps. That doesn't actually get her the 8,000,
right?
But that is going to set her up for all of the other things that she's going to do. If she does that 10-minute walk, she's going to do her workout if it's scheduled. And if she does her workout when it's scheduled and she's doing her walking, what is going to happen with her nutrition? She's going to be more mindful with her nutrition. She drilled all of this stuff down to what is the single thing that I can do that is going to be the catalyst for everything else for me. That's the leading behavior. So now she doesn't have to focus on, okay, I got to do my workouts. I got to get my 8,000 steps. I got to track my food. I got to hit my protein, my fiber. I got to hit my calories. I got to do my sleep. I got to do my stress management. She doesn't have to do all of that stuff. She just has to get up and walk for 10 minutes.
And the rest will follow.
And the rest follows behind. It lags behind. We do this in business. Right? We do this in business. I do this with my coaching clients, right? Like you have your KPIs, right? Like key performance indicators, but the KPIs are all linked to, or should all be linked to, revenue generating behaviors. And if you do these well, we get all the way back to, so like in real estate, as a for instance, right? What's the end goal? I want to sell the house.
Sell a house, yeah.
Want to sell a house and get commission. So what do I need to do to sell a house? Well, let's just say that you're the selling agent, right? I need to get the listing. Right. And then you need to do all the other things, but that would be like coming back before that, right? If I get the listing, then I'll get the photos and I'll do this thing, right? Like I know that I'll do that stuff. I got to get the listing. Well, how do I get the listing? I got to get people who want to list with me. Well, how do I do that? Well, I have to get a gajillion connections. So I come down to, I got to figure out how many people do I need to talk to in order to get one listing?
The theory is it's 100. For every 100 people, it's one potential.
One listing. That's the idea. So what is it that Amy has to do? Amy has to talk to 100 people. That feels daunting.
Yeah, it does.
That feels daunting.
Amy
right?
doesn't
but
like
again,
100 people.
No, 100%. But that's the lagging behavior, right? Is talking to 100 people. And you're like, I don't want to do that. That stinks. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We have to go one step further back or two steps further back to what is it that I need to do for me to make it so I will actually go talk to 100 people. I have to create for myself the catalyst to go do it. And this is different for everybody, but it's maybe like, okay, I set aside the time to do it, right? I have a structure in place within which I do this, right? I have a trigger song, that's like, all right, hype me up, and I do this. Yes. And that's the thing, that all I have to do is play the song, and I'm going to spend the 20 minutes to reach out to the 5 people every day for 5 days a week. That's 25 people a week, 100 people a month. I get a listing a month, which means I sell a house a month. That's the logic. And so we come back to, all I have to do is every single day I play this song. That's the leading behavior. The lagging behaviors are, I talk to the people, I get the things, boom, 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 boom. But we have to drill it all the way back to the source. Now, you may not know what this is, and that's totally valid. So you have to create the structure now. So this is what I was talking about with my client just before this. A little sip. Okay. She was really, really stressed at work last couple of days. So she came home and she was like, I don't normally do this, but ate for comfort, drank too much wine. And she reached out to me, which I was really proud of her for. I was hey, proud of you. You got to tell me that this is what's happening so I can help you walk through it. And she was like, the challenge was, I was transitioning a stressful day at work. And then I go right into, like, at 10 minutes, I pick up my kids, come home. They're crazy because they've been at daycare all day. And so then I go right from crazy at work to crazy at home. And so then I'm like tapped out by. Right. So the lagging behavior is, I ate and drank things that I didn't want to do. And if we just looked at that, it would be like, I just need to have more discipline to not try to cope with alcohol and food. Yes, but that's fighting a losing battle a little bit. Right. Right? Like, I'm not saying that that's not something you want to tackle, but we also want to recognize that, like, in the moment of peak stress, we are going to be instinctual. And we're going to do what we feel like we need. When we're at peak stress, we're at 10 out of 10. We go to flight, fight, or fetal. And so that's fetal mode. Like, I'm going to cope. I'm going to feel better. I need a dopamine kick. I'm going to scroll on my phone. I'm going to do whatever. We need the dopamine kick. And so we go to the lagging behavior and we're like, all right, I'm going to handle this behavior. Right. And you get people on Instagram just like, can you just do things that align with your identity? It's like, I mean, yeah, but, right, we talked about this on the last one, like the be, do, have, like, yeah, but, like, gosh, we got to also just be honest with ourselves about what we're going to naturally do. And it's like, if I'm an alcoholic, I don't go to a sports bar. It's not to say that I can't be disciplined in that setting, but, like, why am I putting myself in a situation where I have to exercise an extraordinary amount of willpower in order to be successful? The chances of me being successful are severely diminished. Not because I don't have discipline, but because it's way harder in that setting. So let me just not put myself in hard settings, put myself in easier settings, and I don't have to work so hard. So that in the instances, the rare instances where I am forced to have to use discipline, I am not depleted from it because I've used it all up on just a random Tuesday when my buddies wanted me to go to the sports bar. But if I'm not used to using alcohol as a coping mechanism and then somebody dies and I'm used to, like, you know what I mean? God forbid somebody dies and I have to deal with that. And I've used up all of my willpower just to go hang out with my buddies. Now I'm in a rough spot. And I don't mean to, like, make light of alcoholism or anything like that, but it's because I don't think I did, but
no, you didn't.
The idea of, like, we have to recognize in what scenarios we will be successful or not successful. So if I try to tackle the lagging behavior, if you look at 12 Alcoholics Anonymous or anything like that, if people are trying to deal with the end result, it ends up being really challenging to just like, all right, I'm going to white knuckle my way through this. I can do it. Go team, David Goggins. And it's about, and so you go back to the Kylie Perkins thing from earlier, her whole thing is like, you're not being who you want to be as a mom, and your kids are off the rails because you're living in chaos. And so you're constantly stressed, and they're constantly stressed and overwhelmed. And you're in a situation where you are set up to fail from the jump. And then you're dealing with the lagging behaviors of you and your kids. Like, why am I yelling at my kids? Why are my kids misbehaving?
Because everyone's maintaining a kind of a heightened level.
Everybody's heightened.
Their base level is heightened.
My client, why are my kids off the wall when I got home? Why am I so stressed? It's like, because we're trying to deal with the lagging indicator when or the lagging behavior when we have to go back to the source and deal with the leading behavior. So the leading behavior is, for that client, I was like, you need a transition time between in that 10 minutes. If you don't have quality or quantity, you got to make it quality. Get in your car, take a minute, do 5 13-second breaths. 4 seconds in, 7-second hold, or no, it's 18-second breaths. What is it? 19-second breaths, right? 4 seconds in, 7-second hold, 8 seconds out. Do 5 of them. It takes a minute and 20 seconds.
Feels right.
No, minute and 40 seconds.
Math.
Right? Minute and 40 seconds. And then pick 2 songs, 4 or 5 minutes, 3 songs that are your favorite songs. And you blast them in your car, and you, like, the rule is you have to sing them at the top of your lungs.
I'm going to be
whole ride.
Adding this to my day.
Sing them at the top of your lungs the whole ride. And now, does that change everything? No, but it maybe helps you transition a little bit from one to the other, so that now I'm like, okay, I've removed work a little bit from my system. And so I'm coming into this. And then what do your kids need? They need a transition system. And so it's like, and again, we don't do a lot well with our kids. You know what I mean? Like, we're always learning. But one of the things that we do is like, hey, when they have daycare, they come home and we have a transition routine when they get home to regulate them. If they don't do it, the rest of the night's terrible.
They need it.
They come in. What?
They need it. Oh, they need that structure.
Shoes come off, coats come off. They sit on the couch. They drink. They have a drink. Apple juice or milk. At a minimum, that's what's going to happen. Maybe it's they watch a show, maybe read a book, whatever it is, but they got to sit. They got to just like be in the house for a moment. And then we go into what's next. And that, because otherwise I'm dealing with the lagging behaviors all night. I'm like, why are you not listening? Why are you yelling at your brother? Why are you hitting your sister? Why is this happening? It's the idea of prepping your kids, right? Like with toddlers, it's like, hey, in 5 minutes, we're going to do this. In 2 minutes, we're going to do this, right? Hey, 5 minutes, we're going to be putting your shoes on to get ready to leave. Hey, 2 minutes until we leave. Make sure you're ready to put your shoes on. 1 minute until we leave, right? Because if I just say, all right, it's time to leave, they're jostled by it, and then they're mad and they're not listening, and you're like, why can't you just listen? And it's like, well, if I had just taken the time beforehand to prep them, the leading behavior, then all of a sudden, now, does that 100% work all of the time? No.
No, nothing works 100% of the time with kids.
No. Or even with adults,
yeah.
Right? Like the idea that if I put pants on, now all of a sudden I'm going to cook every dinner? No, that doesn't happen either. But I can at least make it on the table that I'm going to. And then what I do is then I just deal with the more infrequent circumstances where it didn't work. And I look to what was the confounding variable in the equation there?
Confounding variable.
What was the thing that got inserted into the process that threw it off the thing that had worked every other time? were we coming into it? Was I coming into it? Were my kids coming into it from a different place than normal? Did I do something different? What changed in there? And sometimes it's just the human element of it, but we need to figure out what is the sourced thing that I can do to be in that other things are going to trickle out of. So again, coming back to Kylie Perkins as a for instance, her morning is, hey, you're going to open the shades, you're going to open the window, you're going to get some fresh air, and you're going to make your bed, you're going to fold the load of laundry that you put in the dryer last night. At night, this is my big thing. Is every night, you know what I don't want to do after I put the kids to bed?
Go to bed.
Oh, I 100% want to go to bed. What do I not want to do when I come downstairs after I put the kids to bed?
Oh,
I don't want
to
to clean
anything.
my house.
Right. You want
to
relax with your wife.
My house. Yes. But you know what we do every night?
Clean.
Pick up the house. Want to know why? Because when I come downstairs at 4:50 in the morning this morning, because my kids were awake, and I walk downstairs and the house is a dumpster fire, my day's screwed. My whole day is ruined when I come downstairs and the dishes are piled high in the sink and there's no clean cups for them to have milk and the toys are everywhere and I step on a Lego because it's pitch black and I'm ready to punch a wall and it's 4:50 in the morning. So again, we talked about this. You love your future self with the decisions that you make now. And so if I think about, okay, I'm going to do the closing shift in my house, this nighttime routine of like, hey, we're going to pick up the toys. Ideally, the kids help us, but some days that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. But we're going to pick up the toys. We're going to fold the blankets and put them back on the couch. We're going to put the dishes in the dishwasher and run the dishwasher. And if there's a load of laundry that needs to go in, ideally we'll have done. So I put a load of laundry in this morning and then I'll transition it later on and it'll be in the dryer and whatever it is. And maybe we fold it or it's ready to fold in the morning. But like at least we have the stuff available to us that's there. And then we can sit and I saw like a meme about this. Like there's only two types of people in the world. People who need to clean before they can relax and people who need to relax before they clean. And those people marry each other. So like that's me and Megan, right? Like I'm the clean before I relax.
Yeah.
Right? It's 100% true. But it is, again, setting up the space within which I can be like, okay, I'm not worried about this anymore. Like I can be here, I can do the thing.
Yeah.
And
without staring at the other things that need to be done. I can't relax if there's anything that needs, like I can't fully relax. I can sit down. Yeah. But I'll be like, oh, I still need to do that, and I need to do that, and that needs to happen, and then that triggers everything else that needs to happen.
It's like up in your throat a little bit. So what do? By doing those things, then on Thursday mornings, when I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and I pack all the kids' lunches and stuff like that, and get myself ready to go because I leave at 5:30 to go to the coach at the gym from 6 to 7. That's the only things that I do, but I do it Tuesday, Thursday morning. Leave bright and early. And Megan's got to get all three kids out the door by 6:45. So it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure that she's as well set up as possible for that. So I'm going to make the lunches and pack them and get the backpacks in the car so she doesn't have to do that. And I'm going to lay out the kids' clothes so that she doesn't have to hunt for them. And I try to do that as best I can. Right? But if I have to go dig in the dryer for the kids' clothes, that adds stress to my morning. And sometimes I'm not able to lay out the clothes for the kids because I'm hunting for it. I'm like, I don't know where Levi's clean clothes are. I don't know. And so now she has to deal with it or I have to deal with it later. And so if I have taken the time to clean and organize the clothes, then it makes the morning a lot easier for me to just grab them. So the leading behavior is doing the stuff the night before. So then I can do the stuff in the morning. So then Megan can do the stuff that she needs to do. Because the lagging behavior is, how is it that the kids get in the car at 6:45? That's determined by what I do the night before. Her morning is determined by what I do the night before. So I'm going to love her as best I can by taking care of the leading behaviors. And if I do the leading behaviors, then everything else naturally kind of falls into place. But otherwise, I'm going to get frustrated. She's going to get frustrated about the morning. And the mornings where she texts me and she's like, this was a dumpster fire and you need to not coach in the mornings anymore because I can't do this anymore, are the mornings where I didn't do everything that I would normally do. Now, occasionally that happens, but that's a lot fewer and further between. And she is less frustrated if I've done everything that I said that I was going to do. So she's well set up for success. I'm tired all the time. As a for instance.
I'm sure.
No. Like I'm giving a no, I am tired all the time.
I know.
No, but like
tired dad.
But the idea of like, hey, if I'm tired all the time and I'm having a hard time waking up to do my workout, if I'm trying to do it first thing in the morning, I gotta be more disciplined and get up with my alarm. No. I got to put my alarm across the room. No, you're dealing with the lagging behavior. Why are you so tired? Either the quality or the quantity of your sleep isn't enough. All right. So let's start with looking at your bedtime routine. What time are you going to bed? All right. My alarm's going off at 6 and I go to bed at midnight. Well, no wonder you can't get up at 6.
No wonder, right?
Right. So you probably need to start going to bed at 10, which means you really need to be. What?
I'm going to time mark this and send it to John saying, please start listening at 36 minutes.
36 minutes. So you probably need to start going to bed at 10 or 10:30, which actually means you need to be asleep by 10:30, which means you probably need to turn your light off by 10, which means you probably need to start your bedtime routine at like 9:30, which means that you probably want to put your phone down at 9 p.m. So what's the leading behavior? I put my phone down at 9 p.m. Because what happens if I put my phone down at 9 p.m.? There's probably not a lot else to do.
Nope. No more doom scrolling for the next 4 hours.
So I put my phone down at 9 p.m. That's the leading behavior. And then what am I naturally going to do? Well, then I'm probably going to start my bedtime routine. I'll get in bed. I'll read for a half an hour. I'll turn off my light and I'll fall asleep. The lagging behavior is waking up on time to do my workout. The leading behavior is putting my phone down at 9 p.m. the night before. And if I do that, I am way more likely to do this. Now, is it an exact science? Is it going to work every time? No. But certainly it's going to make it a lot easier for me to be successful if I can bring it back to the source. I really struggle with snacking. I think I need healthier snacks, right? That would be attacking the lagging behavior, right? I need healthier snacks. I need to, find gluten-free, high-protein muffins that taste like dog crap.
Awful. Everything tastes like sawdust.
It's so bad. And you're like, and all that they remind you of is that they're not real muffins. They're muffin impersonators. Just like, just give me the real thing, And you're just like, it's not actually helpful in terms of satisfying my craving.
No.
And it makes me want the real thing.
Right.
And so then I eat that and then I go eat the real thing. And so it just undoes everything. So the problem is not snacking. The problem is probably you're hungry in between meals, maybe, or you're bored, right? That it's one of those couple things usually. Or you're stressed or whatever it is, but figure out what the source is. Let's just say that you're hungry. Like, I'm always hungry at 3 p.m.
Look at your lunch.
What are you eating for lunch? Oh, well, I have I had a Hot Pocket, or I had a lean cuisine. It's like, well, no crap.
Yeah.
It's not filling enough.
It's like 3 ounces of food.
It's not enough. I'm hungry. I snack late at night. I can't figure out why. What do you have for dinner? Well, we had pasta with some garlic bread. You probably had 3 bowls of the pasta too. Yeah, I did. I had second helpings. And it doesn't matter how much I eat at my main meal. I'm still hungry afterwards. It's because you don't have any protein. You don't have any fiber. So you're hungry all the time. So you want to stop snacking late at night. It's like attack dinner. All right, so the leading behavior is I'm going to make sure that every single one of my dinners has a protein source and a fiber source in it. So in order to do that, I got to go one step further behind, right? Because I can't make that decision at 4:45, what are we having for dinner? Oh, I need a protein and a fiber source, and I look in the freezer. You want to know what you don't have in the freezer?
Fresh
protein
veg.
source and a fiber source, because
Right.
you didn't go to the grocery store, because you didn't plan your meals.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go all the way back to what is it that I'm going to do? I'm going to do menu planning on Sunday, and then I'm going to go to the grocery store to buy the stuff for the menu plan. The leading behavior is the menu plan.
It's a really peaceful way to spend a Sunday morning. I make my tea and I sit and listen to jazz music usually and plan my whole week's meals, and then we go to the grocery store. It's really lovely.
This was another client situation where she was like, man, I'm having a hard time getting protein in my meals. And I was like, okay, what I want you to focus on this week is menu planning. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, what are you going to do if you menu plan? You're probably going to think about having protein in your meals.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you going to do after you menu plan? You're not going to just not go to the grocery store. You're going to go to the grocery store to buy the stuff for the menu that you just planned.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you going to do with the food? You're probably going to cook it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be at least way more likely to cook it than if you didn't go to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. So the leading behavior is setting aside the time. It's actually even one step further before that. It's carving out the time. It's in the calendar. It is agreed upon in the household. Hey, at this day, at this time, we're menu planning. Mm-hmm. We're going over the calendar for the week ahead, and we're looking at, hey, on Friday night, Megan, my wife, is going out to dinner with a couple of girlfriends. What are we doing for dinner? You want to know what we're doing for dinner tonight? What Megan doesn't want to eat. We're having salmon.
Oh.
Salmon.
I'm with Megan.
Well, I love salmon. She used to love salmon. Then she had it when she was pregnant, and it kind of ruined it for her.
Do your kids eat salmon?
We'll find out tonight. We haven't tried it, but they had fish the other night. They had haddock.
Well, haddock is delicious.
Bread and haddock. Yeah, I would be shocked if they have, but they'll try it. I'll put it on the plate.
They'll try it. Yeah. Yeah, we can't get Em to eat salmon. I mean, which is fine.
I didn't like salmon until I was a grown adult. My mom tried to get me to like it for a long time. I didn't like salmon until I was like 25.
Yeah, I keep trying it. I try it at least once a year because I'm like, everyone loves it. It's really good for you.
You gotta have me cook it for you. I'll cook it for you.
Do you do it on a plank?
A cedar plank?
Yeah.
No, cedar plank salmon's pretty dope though.
See, I bought John a cedar plank probably a decade ago. It is still wrapped in the plastic that it came from On the Vine.
It takes
soak it.
No, so I do pan-seared salmon. Mm-hmm. And I do it one of two ways. So I either do a salmon stir fry, which is pretty delicious, or the one that I do most often is salmon with a shallot Dijonnaise.
Oh, well, yeah. That's up my alley.
Like dressing on it with roasted potatoes and broccoli. It's delicious. It's very, very good.
Do you cook it inside your house, though? Like, do you
I do. So she doesn't love the smell of the house. Yeah. So I have to open the window.
Yeah.
Because she'll walk in tonight and she'll be like, it smells like salmon. And I'm like, you went out. So I put the kids to bed. Like, you don't get to complain about what the house smells like right now.
Just burn a candle, burn a vanilla candle.
I'll light a candle for her. Yeah.
Vanilla salmon.
Her thing is, she said it when I was prepping for Christmas Eve dinner, when she was laid up. And it was like, oh, we probably should not have hosted this meal because it was like, she cleans the house while I prep the meal. Yeah. But I was doing both because she couldn't do anything because she was hurt or she was recovering. And so she like listed, hey, these are the things to kind of keep in mind with the cleaning. And the last thing was like light a candle of victory. And I was like, oh, I didn't get even close to that because I was like trying to cook and do everything. We left it half on the table there. But again, going back to, we know what the schedule is for the week, and I set aside the time to look at the schedule. I make the plan. Then I'm going to naturally go to the grocery store. Then I'm going to naturally cook the food. But then it's a lot less instances of you're not going to get, what are we eating for dinner in 5 minutes? But you still could have the instance like me where I'm wearing sweatpants and I know what's for dinner. We have the supplies for it, and I'm not willing to do it. And so then I have to figure out, where did the hole in the system come? Because it wasn't with the original one, and that's where I discovered the sweatpants thing. Because I was like, why is it that I don't want to do this? And now there's going to be other times as well.
Yeah.
But I'll figure out that as well. I'll figure out what is the leading behavior that leads to it the other time. And so again, if we can continue to work our way backward to what is the source of the thing, and if I can drill this down to, I need to do 5 things a week, and then almost everything else trickles out for me, then I have been able to hack my way into getting the outcomes versus trying to bang my head against the wall with why can't I do this thing? And we think that we need more discipline or we need a different program or whatever it is. So like for me, it's again, it's like, all right, hey, if I put real clothes and shoes on, 5 positive things are going to come as a byproduct of that. For my health, for my work, right? If I put real clothes and shoes on to start my work day, I almost guarantee myself 8,000 plus steps. I almost guarantee myself that I'm going to cook a real dinner tonight, and I'm going to make probably better decisions throughout my day with my meals. But those tend to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to probably be a lot more productive with work and not be as enticed to sit on the couch and watch TV while I'm at my house, but I'm actually going to do the work that I need to do. If I make my bed, I am way more likely to fold the laundry. And if I fold the laundry, then I'm going to be more likely to put the clothes out in the morning, which means that Megan's day is going to be better. If I clean up the house at night, I'm way more likely to start the day in a better headspace. I'm creating for myself by taking a little bit of time, and it's like, oh, I don't have the time for that. Yes, you do. You're spending it somewhere else.
And usually that, if you're saying you don't have the time and you're spending it somewhere else, it's usually not on something that is very important or helpful in the long run.
Well, even if it was, okay, I don't have the time to take an hour. It doesn't take an hour, but let's just say take an hour to calendar and menu plan on Sunday, and then another hour to go to the grocery store. How much time do you spend running back and forth to the grocery store and to take out and figuring out what you're going to eat throughout the week? It probably adds up to more than 2 hours.
Yeah, you're reallocating.
And you end up with less. And so this is what I was telling my client who was having a hard time with the stress and things like that. And she was doing it on the other end of it. She's like, I just felt like I didn't have the time for this. And I didn't, I didn't have the bandwidth for this. And I was like, you pay for this somewhere. The bill comes due. You paid for it at the end of everything with I ate and I drank my way into, because you have only so much capacity. So let's try to drill down to what are the things that I can do. And so again, I will circle back finally for the last time to Kylie Perkins, which is, hey, if I do these things, because people are like, oh, I can't take the time away from my kids. And it's like, no, if I take the 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, to do this routine, I am then able to be significantly more present and effective with them for the rest of the time.
Absolutely.
Because I can't, and this is where we come back to like, okay, is it selfish to take time to take care of myself? Right? Like go do a workout, right? Like that's a leading behavior sometimes. It's like, hey, what is a leading behavior? I'm going to lay my clothes out for the gym the night before. I'm going to put it in my calendar. I'm going to sign up for a class. I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to get a coach. I'm going to do the thing that I need to do. And then the other things are going to come as a result of that. I have to work them, but I'm going to set it up for myself to be successful. But the idea that's like, okay, I'm going to take an hour to go do a workout. You want to know what I did today? So I told Amy before we hopped on the call today, my day from like noon yesterday to 8 p.m. like got totally derailed for today. Yeah. My Friday got totally derailed from noon on Thursday until 8 p.m. And I was going to have like 3.5 available hours during the day to like get work done and do all of these things. And I got down to 1. You want to know what I did with that 1 hour? I worked out.
Good for you.
Not because I wanted to. I really, really didn't want to. And there's a ton of stuff that I needed to do. But the idea that I was going to make it through the whole day today without being able to take care of myself, I was going to be fried by the end of the day. And so it's the idea of like, I can show up in my kids' lives and be a person in the room for 4 hours, or I can chase them around for 3.
I know which one your kids would prefer.
Yeah. Which one do you want to be?
Daddy Chase.
Daddy Chase. Daddy Uppies. Daddy Wrestle. I want it upside downs, crazy, silly pickups. They want that daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do it all the time, because in the times that I don't do it, if I look at the lag, I'm like, man, I don't know why I can't get myself up to doing this thing. It's probably because I didn't take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no energy left for them. And that's a bummer.
It totally is.
And I get mad at myself. Like, why am I impatient with my kids? It's not that I just need to be better as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough thing to do, is like when they're yelling at me to just like not get frustrated, because the instinct is there. When do I handle those situations better? When I'm doing better.
Mm-hmm.
So the lagging behavior is, how do I handle my kids? The leading behavior is how I take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the outcomes that you want. The place where you find yourself frustrated with how you're doing it. And there's a phrase, it's a verse in the Bible where Paul says, I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. And what I hate, I do. And this is the human nature. And this is a guy who's talking about like his sinful nature. This is human nature. One of the preeminent, like, wrote half of the New Testament, basically, guys who you would be like, oh man, hold him up on a pedestal. He's like, I can't friggin' figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the human nature is, we don't do the things that we want to do, and we do the things that we don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're in this situation where we're frustrated with our behavior, it's because our instincts are to do what's easy, or to do what's comfortable, or to do what's natural. And that's usually not what we want. And the answer is not be more disciplined in that thing. The answer is to be more disciplined with the leading behavior. Get yourself to do the thing that makes everything else easier. Just start with the thing. Get in the building. Like, you want to work out more, just get yourself in the building. You are way more likely to work out once you're in the building.
It's true.
You're not going to do 100% of the time, but if you're in the building, chances are you're probably going to work out more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get yourself in the building? That's the question. That is the real problem. How do I get myself in the building? Work backward. How do I get myself in the building? How do I get the food in my house? Where's the source of it? And focus on the leading behaviors, because then the lagging behaviors will just fall right out.
I like this one.
This was Jeff's brainchild. So you guys were kind of coming along the journey for me, but this is what's been rolling around in my brain for several weeks here. So you guys get a little bit of an insight to how I think. If this was interesting for you, I would love to hear if it was. And if you've heard this somewhere, let me know so I can go read a little bit more about it. If you haven't, also let me know, because I might need to like make a thing of it. I feel like it's like an adjacent. Again, I don't think I reinvented the wheel here, but maybe it's a new perspective on behavioral psychology. Which, the fact that this is the kind of stuff that I talk about, like if anybody asks me like, what do you do? And it's like, I basically do behavioral psychology. Like, that's what I really do. Versus like, I mean, I do it surrounding this thing, but it's just get people to do the things that they can't get themselves to do, and get people to not do the things that they keep finding themselves doing. So that's what we're trying to do. Leading behaviors, friends. Cool?
Very cool.
Love it. All right. Appreciate y'all very much. And again, let me know about this one, because this was just kind of in my head. And if you want, shout out Kylie Perkins. She was kind of the one that brought this full circle for me.
Thanks, Kylie.
So she might, by the time we have this blow up, or go live, she might have done something to get herself canceled, because that just feels like the culture right now. But she seems like a solid person. But yeah, she shouts at you. If you want to get your house clean, go watch Kylie Perkins. We'll talk to you soon.